John Lilly's at a party. He meets the wife of the producer of Flipper who gives him LSD. Everyone's on acid. John Lilly gets the idea. If we start giving acid to dolphins, I bet they'll talk to us.
You're right?
I'm fine, man.
You spinning?
I'm not spinning. Yet.
Hello. Something about saying hello that feels so fake. Hey. That's how I would do it if it's so terrible. Hello, I'm John Lovett, and today we're talking about JFK and Dr. Feelgood.
I want to feel good.
Let's feel good, you know?
Cheers.
Cheers. So, JFK's running for president, and he's about to debate Richard Mother Trucking Nixon, and he is a mess. He is sitting there, and he's like, I'm riddled with Addison's disease. He can barely speak, his back hurts, he's got one of his classic migraines. Terrible set of symptoms, classic Addison's disease. So he's like, I can't go out there. And his buddy is like, I know somebody who can help you. And his name is Dr. Max Jacobson, AKA Miracle Max, AKA Dr. Feelgood. JFK's like, cool, get that doctor in here. So in comes Dr. Feelgood. He comes in, and JFK's like, hey, I've got Addison's disease. And Jacobson's like, I have the cure for that. He's like, what? No one has the cure for Addison's disease. And Jacobson's like, bup, 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 you know, because he's Jewish.
Yeah.
And he goes, bup, 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 bup. You're gonna get my super special magic elixir. Give me your butt cheek. And he gives him a shot. And then JFK is like, holy moly. My body is working. I feel like my old self again. Hey, one quick question. Maybe it's late to ask, but hey, it's never too late. You know, it's never too late to ask a question. What is in this? And Max Jacobson is like, number 1, vitamins. Number 2, there is enzymes. And then finally, don't freak out, but the last ingredients, it is placenta.
Huh.
Placenta? Placenta. So, JFK walks out to that podium. He says, hey, Tricky Dick, get ready, get fucking ready. Are you ready? I'm the best at TV. Kennedy shot Nixon with rhetoric, and Nixon is defeated. So now, JFK is president of the United States, all right? So you got RFK as his right-hand man, but he's got another right-hand man, his left-hand man, Dr. Feelgood. He's getting the Jackie Kennedy, his wife, she's like, what's going on with those shots? And he's like, hey, here, I get them, man, he. Have me. And so, he's got Jackie doing it, but Kennedy's dealing with a lot of problems, okay? Problem number 1, the Cold War. Kennedy is gonna meet with the bald man from Moscow, Khrushchev. And he's like, I need that boom boom juice you give me. And then Feelgood goes, and then it happened. They meet at Vienna, Austria. I am genuinely quite drunk. Where were we in the story of JFK and his drugs? JK.
Wait, please keep calling him JK, because that is his initial.
So, J, mother lovin' K, and Jackie Kennedy, and Marilyn Monroe, and Truman Capote, they're all getting the Dr. Feelgood crazy shots. And RFK's starting to get a little worried, because he's like, what's going on here? Is this a White House, or is this a trap house? So, RFK is the brother of the president, and he's an amateur sleuth. And he's like, I'm gonna find out what's in this thing through medicine testing. And then beep pop boop.
Beep bop boop pop.
Beep bop boop. Out come the results. It's meth. So RFK goes to his brother and he says, you're getting meth. Jackie, Jack, John, F, will you accept this offer of help today? JFK, blown away, what else do I have to say? And John F. Kennedy is like, I don't give a flying fudge. I don't care if it's horse piss. You know what Miracle Max does? He makes me get over my physical problems to be the best person I can be. It's crazy. So RFK, Robert, Bobby, well, what does he do? He confronts Dr. Max Jacobson. He says, listen, you're gonna stop treating my brother. Something that rhymes with bike, okay? And that's not what he said. I honestly don't wanna say what he says because frankly, it's anti-Semitic. And then RFK says, my brother's gonna be president for 8 years, and then I'm gonna be president for 8 years, and nothing's gonna stop us. Nothing. Because we're the Kennedys, right? This is Camelot. Nothing could go wrong. Nothing. 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 But basically, afterwards, Dr. Feelgood calls Kennedy and says, your brother, Bobby Kennedy, gave me 1960s anti-Semitism. And you know what I say to that? I say, no, thank you. And I'm not gonna work with you anymore. So now John F. Kennedy, he's not good. And he's like, I am exhausted from my Addison's disease. I need help. So JFK calls up Dr. Feelgood and he says, hey, I'm fucked up, all right? I need that sweet, sweet magic medicine. Make me feel good. And Dr. Feelgood's like, sure, I'm a stone cold lunatic and fraud. I will do whatever you want. JFK and Feelgood meet at the Carlisle Hotel in New York. And so JFK gets one last super dose. And JFK's like, wow, this is fantastic. I'm gonna get naked and run around the Carlisle Hotel doing literal cartwheels, even though I continue to have basically untreated Addison's disease. He's done cartwheels through the Carlisle. Cartwheels through the Carlisle is a bit of a tongue twister.
100%. Moses supposes his toes are roses.
Boy howdy, you know? And the Secret Service looked at each other and they said, got ourselves a real situation. And so they say to each other, why don't we get a doctor who knows how to treat crazy people? The Secret Service calls a literal psychiatrist who comes and injects Camelot himself with an antipsychotic medicine. He sobers up, he wakes up, he's surrounded by medical doctors. And they say to him, Mr. President, you gotta stop seeing this doctor. And he's like, why? He makes me feel so good. And the doctor's like, well, how about this? You can't do meth anymore because you're in charge of the nuclear warheads. And JFK's like, you make a really good argument. I'm done with meth. I'm done with it, all right? I'm gonna live a lovely life where I just use normal doctor things like Advil and stretching. And then he lives happily ever after. Nothing bad happens to him. And then in 1972, the New York Times runs an expose. And Feelgood's like, I've got to Enron the shit out of these documents. Shred. He destroys all of his records. And then he said, yeah. And then there was kind of trumpets and kind of a Marconi score. And he's gone off into the sunset, never to be heard from again. This was wild. That the president was on drugs. Okay. I'm done.
Cheers.
To Kennedy.
Hello. Today we're going to talk about the invention of Coca-Cola, America's favorite soft drink. So like in the 1800s, John Pemberton was trying to make patent medicines. Basically, they were fake medicines, and most of them were just like herbal, who's-y what's, who even cares. He was just trying to make anything that would sell. He was like, I want to make a fake medicine that made women think that they'll never be nervous or have farts, and make men think that they can be smarter. So he decided to use a new ingredient, coca. Coca It's from a plant. The South Americans would chew it and be like, we had so much energy and we weren't even hungry and we hiked the whole Andes. But really, they were just on cocaine. John Pemberton was like, oh, I should put this into my new potion that I'm making. And basically, he copied someone else's recipe called like Vin Mariani. He was like, well, I have wine. I put coca in there, a little of this cola in. The cola nut released a little bit of caffeine. And he basically was like, what I give you is a wine with cocaine, caffeine. Then people in Atlanta were like, no, nobody can sell alcohol because of temperance. He was like, okay, well, fine, I'll just make a temperance beverage. He went back into his laboratory and he decided to just put the coca and the cola together, but they were super bitter without the wine. So he added a ton of sugar and then he made it into like a drink. You know, he thought, oh, well, people will love this. It wasn't like he was like, I made a soda, because nobody even had that yet. He had a friend named Frank Robinson who was like, okay, well, I'll help you to sell your medicine soda drink thingy. First of all, you should change the K in the cola to a C and just call it what it is, Coca-Cola, and the two C's will look really nice next to each other. And who wouldn't love that? So they would just advertise Coca-Cola as a medicine for your brain. They would say it's invigorating and stimulating and healthy for your nervous system using the exotic extract of the coca and cola nut to make you super alive and ready to face your day. The first year, he only sold 25 gallons.
25,000 or 25?
25 gallons
Okay.
in a year. He gave it to pharmacies. They had like soda fountains and fun things, and people did like it a lot. Oh, this is a great drink. They thought that it made them like invigorated and aware. People are basically drinking little cocaine soda. Me. I need more. I wish I was alive then to drink the Coca-Cola. God, I miss so much from not being in the olden times. The next year, he sold 200 gallons a month? That's so much more. 12 months. Reggie, stop it. 12. Reggie, god damn it. Hold on. Okay, I got him. 12 months out of the year. We sold 2,000 gallons a month. No, yes? God damn it. He's on his deathbed dying of stomach cancer. And he's like, out of all of the patent medicines that I've tried to make, I've finally made a successful patent medicine. But what he never knew was that he actually made the most successful drink that humans will ever drink, ever. God, he was so successful and he doesn't know, and he'll never know ever. They still use coca leaves in modern day Coca-Cola. So do the math on that one. Even if they don't have cocaine in them, they still use the leaves, and they took the cocaine out and putting it somewhere else.
Greetings to you, children of the world. It is I, Doug Trussell, and tonight on Drug History, we're gonna talk about LSD and dolphins.
Cheers.
Cheers. So, in 1961, Dr. John Lilly published an amazing book called Man and Dolphin. He wrote, wow, These dolphins are smart. They're not like what we thought. They're not just sea rats. They're talking to each other. They're social. They're advanced. And we don't even know it yet, but I thought we could talk to these sweeties. So yeah, there was a big dolphin boom. Everybody's reading Lily's book, and Carl Satan. Carl Satan is a cool name. Carl Satan is so much cooler than Marilyn Manson. I so hope someone watching this starts a fucking badass band and renames themselves Carl Satan. All right, Carl Sagan's reading this book, and he's like, whoa. If dolphins can fucking talk? What the fuck, man? This book is blowing my mind. So Sagan calls a meeting. SETI, the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, their members before it even existed are like, shit, we gotta learn to talk to these fucking aliens. And they're all like, dolphins are these fucking mammals, man. And they live in the sea, they can talk. If we can figure out how to talk to them, maybe we can figure out how to talk to aliens. NASA's like, fuck, man, let's do this shit. NASA gives John Lilly a shit ton of money. So John Lilly starts a dolphin laboratory in St. Thomas in the Caribbean in 1963. It's called the Communications Research Institute, CRI. So somehow John Lilly gets 3 dolphins. And he's looking at them, he's like, all right, I'm gonna name you Pamela. I'm gonna call you Sissy. And I'm gonna call you Peter. And we're gonna teach you how to speak English. So, someone who works there, her name's Margaret Howe Lovett. And he says to her, listen, I'm gonna give you Peter. You teach Peter how to talk. Margaret says, I am going to teach you English. He's like, me. She'd be like, my name is Margaret. And he'd be like, and like,
It doesn't sound like her name.
no, and it's a fucking dolphin, give him a break. Imagine if somebody took you out of the earth onto an alien spaceship and they're like, hey, listen, talk with your ass. That's Peter's situation. So she wanted to be around the dolphin all the time. Her bed is next to the dolphin aquarium. She built her desk and a platform above the tank. She basically moves into Peter's apartment. So Peter seems to be learning. And Lily's like, shit, man. Margaret, I think you and Peter are hitting it off. But here's the problem. Dolphins are sexual creatures.
Uh-oh.
So it's like rubbing up against her. It's humping her leg. It's like, look what's happening to me. And she's like, oh, wow, like he needs to fuck. So when Peter would get horny, they would like lift him out of the tank and put him in the tank with the 2 other girls, dolphins.
Nice.
And sure as shit, afterwards, he started learning English better. Margaret's like, talk time. We can talk, now you talk. Peter's like, fuck, I think they want me to say their monkey talk. But I'm horny. She's like, God damn it, here we go again. But moving a dolphin sucks. And she's like, I didn't know I was gonna become a fucking Uber for dolphin fucking. And at some point, she's like, listen guys, we can't do this. We don't have the time. I'll jerk him off, what's the big deal? Margaret started jerking Peter off in between lessons.
Do you think the hand job had a special allure for him? Because dolphins don't have hands.
I think as a dolphin, Peter was not stuck on hands or no hands. He was just like, I'm from the ocean. You? I don't know what the fuck you're from. You're some kind of monkey thing. I think I know what will make you happy though. That's making me come.
My career is over.
What?
My career is over tonight. Where'd the drugs get into the story?
Okay, so John Lilly's at a party. He meets the wife of the producer of Flipper who gives him LSD. Everyone's on acid. John Lilly gets the idea. If we start giving acid to dolphins, I bet they'll talk to us.
You all right?
I'm fine, man.
You spinning?
I'm not spinning. Yet. All right. One of John Lilly's dolphins was traumatized. It had been hit by a spear gun, and it was afraid of humans. He goes in the laboratory with a bunch of acid. This would be great. We could talk to the dolphins. Let's talk to dolphins! He gives the dolphin acid. The dolphin that was formerly scared of humans swims up to him and looks him in the eye. There's a moment where it's like, wait, maybe this isn't about language. Maybe it's something deeper than language. And John Lilly realized, wow, this works.
Fuck this blowhole communication. This is something bigger.
Exactly! It's not just the guttural sound you make out of your fucking hamburger tube. So, John Lilly starts giving the dolphins acid. Margaret is like, hey, John, do you mind not injecting Peter with acid? That'd be awesome. I don't think he wants acid. I don't want you to give it to him. Margaret's like, I love this dolphin. I don't know. And Lily's like, no, I'm gonna give Peter acid. It seems to make them a little more like communicative. It seems to excite them in some way. And he gave it acid. So, John Lilly is on acid. So they're both tripping. So, eventually, Hustler catches wind of the fact that Margaret is like jerking off dolphins and writes an article. They made it like Hustler style.
Yeah.
Someone at NASA opens it up and they're like, what the fuck? I paid $1 million to that asshole and they're out there fucking the dolphins. And so Carl Sagan comes in one day and he's like, I'm Carl Sagan and I'm a very respected scientist. I love space, you know that. I think space is amazing, but there's a couple of things I think are weird that are now happening in the universe. Number one, jerking off dolphins, and number two, giving them acid. And you know what, John? When I said let's talk to fucking dolphins, I didn't mean let's teach them to speak English. Let's learn their language. You don't go to Japan and kidnap a Japanese man and start jerking him off and giving him fucking acid and then ask him to learn English. John, I'm sorry, I'm angry, but really just think about it from my perspective, man. The next time I go to fucking NASA, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, sure, Carl. Who are you gonna jerk off in this experiment? Aliens? An owl? A partridge? What's it gonna be, Carl? Oh yeah, sure, we'll give you money. Get the fuck out of here. So, the lab shuts down in 1966. Peter went to another laboratory. It wasn't a lab like the one he was at. This is just a fucked up, basic, shitty, goddamn dolphin lab. Peter's heart was broken. He loved Margaret. So Peter swims to the bottom of the aquarium and he dies. He drowns himself.
Dolphins can choose not to breathe.
Yeah, Peter especially. And Margaret's heart was broken. She was she was really hurt by that. So this is like the important point, man. Mm-hmm. John Lilly's work led to a worldwide recognition of dolphins and whales as intelligent life forms. And thanks to his work, they passed the Marine Mammal Protection Act, which kept dolphins and whales safe.
In spite of the peculiar twists and turns of this story, why was this important history?
I think Peter taught us that no matter how bad it seems, like you can make it better. Right? Like he's like, if you believe in yourself, if you truly believe in yourself, you can get a monkey descendant to make you come.